Hello, I'm Professor Lee Lytton. For almost 25 years, I've had the joy of teaching countless law students as a professor of law. All of the courses I teach are specifically related to property law, a very broad legal discipline with many facets. But the story I'd like to relate to you is one of a lost heritage for me and for my children, and ultimately subsequent generations. It's a story that spans decades, but it begins with a small boy who grew up in a proud South Texas ranching family with a generational attachment to and love for the land. That small boy then is me now, and it's a story that came to a brutal and abrupt end when my father passed on. You see, when that happened, we were forced to fire sale the ranch and all the livestock to satisfy the government-imposed estate tax. It's the classic story that many farmers, ranchers, and in fact many small business owners today face when there's a changing of the guard between generations. In my case, you are land rich but cash poor, and left with no alternative but to sell all or part of your heritage to satisfy the government. When the Bush tax cuts expire in 2011, the estate tax will return with a vengeance, with only a $1 million exclusion and a 55% maximum tax rate. In other words, even with the most sophisticated trust and estate planning, estate values exceeding these minimal exclusions and other deductions face devastating taxation. And even if Congress decides to make some adjustments, in my opinion, it's highly unlikely that the estate tax will disappear, since we live in a changing world of vast government growth with a voracious appetite for deficits and for cash. If you agree with me that the estate tax in one form or another is here to stay, what are your options? One option is that either you or your parents, if still living, can do nothing, and in time, like me, suffer the indignity and trauma of liquidating your land in whole or in part because of the taxes and because you don't have cash liquidity. Another option is that your attorney can create a special type of trust that acts as a container for a life insurance policy. If correctly drawn, the proceeds will not be included in the estate for tax purposes, and will provide a source of ready cash for the beneficiaries to pay the taxes when the time comes. While this is a commonly used succession planning strategy, it does have its drawbacks. The premium payments into the trust by the insured are subject to the gift tax, and the premium money used removes the cash from other productive uses as long as the insured is alive. There is another option that I believe is worth considering under the right circumstances. It's called asset-backed insurance lending, or life insurance premium financing. This option uses the same trust container for an insurance policy as the second alternative I just mentioned. The difference is that a third-party lender, such as a bank, loans the money for the premiums to the trust, which then pays it to the insurance company, and at the same time the cash value of the policy acts as the principal source of collateral for the loan. The advantage of this strategy is that the loan to the trust, for the most part, has no gift tax implications, and the cash otherwise needed for premiums is freed up for other uses. It should be emphasized that this strategy is not for everyone, and it is not universally applicable. Health, of course, is a critical issue for insurability, and there are costs, risks, and financial thresholds involved that must be thoroughly examined and understood before this option can be put into play. I've published what I believe to be an easily readable law review article that examines all facets of this option, including the history of the estate tax, the use of life insurance for estate tax planning, and the risks and benefits of premium financing. If you would like a copy of my article, please send me an email at the address shown here on the screen, and I'll get you a copy promptly and include information on how either you or your advisors can contact me if you believe it to be an option that you'd like to explore further. Had the insurance financing option been available during my own father's lifetime, and at a time when he was in good health, I believe we could have saved the land from Uncle Sam. If by sharing my personal experience with you, I can help someone preserve the precious heritage of land ownership for succeeding generations, I will fulfill the dream that I've been pursuing for a long, long time. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to hearing from you in the near future.